How you doing, guys? Tomato sauce in here. I just want to give you a little quick breakdown of my new Unholy Death Knight build. We are going to do it in some quick fashion. Um, Essentially, right? You've got your class tree and you've got your spec tree. The class tree, I've stayed pretty standard. I've exchanged 2 talent points out from the standard Death Knight build. I got rid of this improved Death Strike talent, and I put it into Wraith Walk because it's honestly just nice to have an extra root break and a gap closer on a DK. I'm also playing Death's Echo, so I have 2 grips, 2 charges of Death's Advance, and 2 charges of Death and Decay. Synergizes really well with Grip of the Dead over here. So let's take a look at my talent tree. My class tree, rather, Unholy. We're going Scourge Strike, Raise Dead, Outbreak, Dark Transformation, Epidemic, 2 out of 2 Festering Strike. We're really doing that for the Festering Wound damage. 1 out of 1 infected claws to get more festering wounds out on a target. 1 out of 1 replenishing wounds. 1 out of 1 apocalypse. We're going big clawing shadows damage. Sudden doom because this is a huge death coil focused build. Bursting sores. Big festering wound damage. We're popping a ton of festering wounds with our doom burst talent, so it synergizes really well together. 2 out of 2 unholy command. We're going to reduce that cooldown of Dark Transformation so it lines up with Apocalypse. Perfect 45-second CDs here. They work together really well. Magus of the Dead, might as well get some extra damage there. Although Ruptured Viscera is pretty interesting too. When your ghouls expire, they explode. Each explosion may apply festering wounds to enemies hit. I may try this out. 2 out of 2 improved death coil. This build is completely built around death coil and death coil damage. So we're going 30% additional damage there, and it hits 1 additional enemy if they are cleaving. Sudden Doom causes your next death coil to increase your clawing shadows damage against the target by 50% for 10 seconds, which is really nice. You get some big hits with clawing shadows. Harbinger of Doom, Sudden Doom triggers 30% more often, and you can accumulate up to 2 charges. Coil of Devastation. Death Coil causes the target to take an additional 30% of the direct damage dealt over 4 seconds. Eternal Agony. Death Coil increases the duration of Dark Transformation by 1 second. That's right, boys. You will get like 25-second Dark Transformation goes. And we are taking 2 out of 2 Ghoulish Frenzy. Dark Transformation increases the attack speed and damage of you and your ghoul by 10%. So you're just these 3 talents synergize so well with the Bursting Swords talent, all the Festering Wounds abilities that we're running here, and all of the Death Coil damage. It's just a very, very good synergistic build, and it is not cooldown oriented, which I love. So as you can see, I'm ignoring the entire bottom capstones of these trees. Um, Now we're taking Death Rot, Death Coil, and Epidemic. Debilitate your enemy, applying Death Rot, causing them to take 1% increased shadow damage up to 10% for 10 seconds. If Death Coil or Epidemic consumes Sudden Doom, it applies 2 stacks of Death Rot. So you can see 10% extra shadow damage, that you can pretty much have rolling all the time. It's pretty awesome. So Death Rot is very big, and then Fester Might. You're just popping Festering Wounds. It's going to increase your strength. You're going to do more damage. I think you see how this build plays together. Apocalypse's cooldown is reduced by 45 seconds. Death Coil reduces the cooldown of Army of the Damned by 5 seconds, so that is no longer an 8-minute cooldown. You will get it way down because you're going to Death Coil a ton with this build. I'm running Necrotic Wounds here, which is pretty obvious. You're going to have people stuck at 6 stacks. Even when it drops, it's going to get put right back on because of how often you're bursting wounds with this build. Necrotic Aura is one that I don't think I really need because I am at range quite a bit. I've kind of been locking it in, but I would be interested to try reanimation with this build because I think it would be interesting. Um, stun, 10% of their health and shadow damage might be interesting. Maybe even Dark Sim. That could be cool to play around with because you kind of have a free talent here. You really don't need the 8% extra magic damage. because you're not often face tanking your opponent. Against melees, you're kiting them out and trying to run away from them while doing a ton of damage. You're really only coming in for that festering wound hit. And then against ranged DPS, right? You are ranged, so you could be on top of them if you wanted to, but a lot of the times you're not. And then Doom Burst is a lock with this build. Sudden Doom is going to cause your next Death Coil to burst up to 2 Festering Wounds and reduce the target's movement speed by 45% per burst. So it just adds to your kiting ability. And that is it, boys and girls. I could even see Spell Warden being used just for the 10-second reduced duration there on its cooldown. It's not bad. You get 30-second AMS. I might have to mess around with that a little bit because here's the thing, right? Death Knight still to this very moment does not have very good survivability. It's just this build is so much fun to play. So a lot of things to play around with here, and I think we'll get to it as we move forward throughout the expansion. Now, or the patch rather. Now, I'm still pretty young, as you can see. I do have 4-piece. I'm running 4-piece for that Army of the Dead, 20 stacks of Master of Death. I think the 4-piece is really good. I know a lot of people don't run it, but it is it's carrying my build right now, right? I'm in blue gear. Without that 4-piece, I wouldn't be doing the kind of damage that I do. And then the 2-piece is an auto lock Death Coil increased by 10%. Casting Death Coil gives you a stack of Master of Death up to 20. Dark Transformation consumes Master of Death and grants 1% mastery for each stack for 25 stacks. So your opener here, just going to show it off really quick. Get over here. So you're going to run in. Very simple. He's going to Festering Strike twice. Throw up your A-Bomb. Army. Dark Transformation. Apocalypse. Claw. Claw. Fester. And then start blasting your Death Coils, right? Boom. 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 You can see we got no wounds, so we're going to load this guy up with wounds. Throw some coils out. Claw a little bit. Wounds, and then coil, right? And you can see it's a ton of damage. I'm not using reaping right now. I've had I had my dark transformation up for quite a long time. Claw, 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 etc. Right? I think you get the way this goes. Very simple build. You're gonna have your dark transformation and your APOM up again, or apocalypse rather. You go right back into that, and you're blasting again, right? Boom, boom. Now remember, you want to try to get as many death coils out as you can in this window, because that's going to extend your frenzied monstrosity buff. So it's just all about keeping that up, and you can see, boom, every death coil is worth a second on that buff. So we get quite a bit of time. Now look, the buff just fell. My cooldown is sub 20 seconds. And I'm absolutely huge now, right? Like I'm about to have another go after having the longest go ever for what is that? So if I had a 20-second cooldown, so yeah, I had it up for 25 seconds there, 23 seconds. I want to get technical, but that is a very long damage buff. Let's see, our death coils we're doing 59,000 there. Our clawing shadows actually had a 76,000 crit there. Absolutely huge. Our pet is doing big damage the entire time. And our festering wounds were a little light on that dummy, which is odd because in arena they usually hit for like 40, 50K. So I'm going to say there's probably something going on with festering wounds target dummy, but okay, not a big deal. So that's it, boys. That's the build. That is what I'm running. That is what I will be running in the for the foreseeable future. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If so, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I know I haven't been making videos lately, but I have been extremely busy in real life, and we'll keep the channel alive through Death Knight content, in Wrath of the Lich King, and in Dragonflight. And again, my warrior content will still be here. I have more videos to make on that. It's just finding time to do it all. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Take it easy. Tomato saucing out. Unholy DK is definitely back in, though.